To be with you tonight. Got really excited about what we talked about in the nursing home this week. Psalm 93. I've been itching to get out here and go ahead and do this. I believe it was a real message to the people. I'm reading out of the Bible tonight very quickly. There's 5 verses. It says in Psalm 93, "The Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. Thy throne is established of old. Thou art from everlasting. The floods have lifted up, O Lord, the floods have lifted up their voice. The floods lift up their waves. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waves of the sea. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever." I wrote down a few things that I want to try my best to go over quickly with you. I don't want to keep you too long and make this into a preaching service, but the first thing I thought about was when I seen the first verse, the Lord lives. There's no doubt in my mind that Lord lives. He's covered in majesty. You know, I used the example of the Queen of England. She is royalty. She is majesty, but I wouldn't bow to her. I don't know her. She's never done anything for me. But there was a lot of ladies in that nursing home that I would gladly bow to, because I believe that she is actually no different than anyone else. But it talks here about that the Lord is covered in majesty. He is strong for his people. Now, the Lord is not strong for people that don't know him, because they don't know who he is. But he's strong for the ones that is his people. He's girded in power. It's like putting on a jacket. It's like putting on a coat. He's girded in power. His foundation is a firm foundation. That's what I got out of these verses right here. His throne is ageless. I mean, how in the world can you figure the age of the throne of God? You can't. He is forever. And then if you notice in 3 and 4, the verses talked about the water and the waves. And, you know, I started thinking how that, you know, sometimes water is power. You go and let a pipe bust and you got water going all over everywhere. It goes anywhere it wants to. I'm thinking of the fact that it mentioned the word power. It mentioned the word water. And then I started thinking, well, you know, water has a certain amount of sound and it has a certain amount of waves. It would be like me standing in front of a wave and saying, "Don't come no further than this." Well, that wave is going to look at me like I'm an idiot. What I believe David was seeing, or the writer was seeing here, is that God is so big that he is uncontrollable. Uncontrollable. When I moved into verse 5, thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever. Here's what I come up with that last verse. His ways are right. His ways are right. The stories that are in the Bible are true. And I use an example of a couple stories. I use the example of Noah. I use the example of the little bird falling to the ground, that God knows when the little bird falls to the ground. His stories are true. He is holy, H-O-L-Y, and he's pure. If I was to go get a cup of water And I know that that's the only thing in that glass is water. I like to be able to say that. But, you know, I don't know the pollutants in that water. I don't know the rust that is in that water. I don't know anything about that water at all. But I know one thing. He is holy. H-O-L-Y. He is holy. He is pure. His house is holy. And I guess the reason that I'm even going this way with that last verse right there, it says, thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh thine house, O Lord, forever. Well, you know, I come to realize that he wants our love. He wants our love. But he will not force our love. He's not going to force man to love him. He's not going to make somebody. It'd be like me trying to make my wife love me. I can't make her do nothing. He wants our love. And the only way that we're going to get to heaven is by us being holy. But it's not the holiness of us being holy. It's by us knowing the one who is holy, and that's Jesus. Jesus is the only way to heaven. And the holiness that I believe the reason that David reminded us of this is he knows that if we try to go in our holiness is going to let us down. His holiness won't let you down. He will not force our love. He wants our love, but he's not going to force it. You have to decide whether you're holy or not. I appreciate y'all listening tonight. God be with you.